The shuttlecraft Galileo crash lands on a strange planet where I think they met some Bigfoot. It's the Galileo 7 next.
Hi, I'm Chip Cosell. This is
John Whitney. How you
John
doing?
Whitney. Yeah, so welcome to Edith Keeler's Edge of Forever Bar and Grill.
Yeah.
The bar is open. Welcome aboard. Right.
And real quick, if you haven't joined us, hello. And if you like what you see, hit that button and become a subscriber, and you can get notifications on whenever we upload something. And so yeah, there you go. What else?
Yeah. What are we drinking tonight in the bar, John?
Oh, okay, so it's the Evan Williams 1783. It's the small batch, which is like 90 proof, so it's not too bad.
Oh, it's drinkable.
Yeah, it's drinkable.
I love it.
It's pretty good.
So today, the episode Galileo 7, the Galileo 7.
Galileo
That's
7.
the name of the episode we're doing today.
Yeah, so we start. What is it called?
It's a quasar.
It's a quasar.
Cheers.
There you go, sir.
You know, this is before, a lot of astrophysics really, there's not a lot of really good science here in this, even science fiction. But yeah, there's a quasar. They're coming up on a quasar, and Kirk has standing orders to investigate any
quasars.
unknown quasars that might pop up.
And there's this guy.
Yeah.
And he's there. He's like some high uppity muckety muck. And what's his name? His name is
Ferris, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
And his job, and what actually the Enterprise is doing, is that they're transporting some medicine to a colony, New Paris.
New Paris, yeah. Marcus 3.
Because there's some kind of plague, and this guy doesn't want them to stop. He wants to get going, but he's under standing orders to do it, and they're about to send the Galileo off to go check it out.
Yeah, for some reason they're going to send Spock and 6 others to check out this quasar.
Yeah, Scotty, Spock, McCoy, and Yeoman, and 2 other guys.
Yeah, that's right. And
the names.
Yeah, and the first scene is them getting the shuttle ready for launch, and that Ferris guy is like annoyed. And they launch the shuttle.
Yeah.
In the first time we see the interior of the shuttle bay.
Yeah, and the shuttle just kind of poops out like some kind of a poop.
Yep.
Just spling.
Comes right out.
Right out the back.
Yep.
And we're on the Galileo, right?
Yeah, they're in the shuttle, and all of a sudden they're experiencing what they call the Morisaki effect.
Yeah,
which is
they're
an
being
effect
jostled around.
Yeah, effect from the quasar. It's doing this weird thing, and it's affecting they're being drawn into the Morisaki effect of this thing, and they're losing contact with the Enterprise.
Yeah, we go back to the bridge, and Uhura is like breaking up, but something about being pulled off course.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that's all they heard.
That's all they've heard.
Yeah, so now they know.
He knows what's going on because there's 3 planets there, or something like systems there.
Yeah,
and it's like. What did he say? He said, finding them
finding a needle in a haystack would be child's play.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go.
And then we go to commercial.
Yeah.
Or to the
So they got to find the Galileo 7. They're setting it up. That's the story. And then we come back from break, and they're on the bridge. And an ensign's bringing a tray of coffee.
Yeah, they're just
that's
chilling
kind of cool.
out.
They drink coffee in the future,
And
which
those
is
styrofoam
awesome.
cups.
Yep, the styrofoam coffee cups.
Yeah, gotta love that. The what's his name is he's kind of pissed, and he's kind of a dick too at the same time. He doesn't think they should have stopped. He doesn't think they should have even sent them out there, and he's worried about not being able to make
it to get the medicine.
The rendezvous.
Yeah, and Kirk's quick to point out we'll be there. We're scheduled to be there in 5 days.
Yeah.
We have 2 days to search. They're going to work in the very last possible moment. Leave at the very possible.
He's like, he goes, well, you'll never find them. He goes, what do you have me do? Just leave them out there.
Yeah, it was awesome.
He was pissed.
Yeah, he goes, these are my friends, my colleagues,
my
shitmates. Yeah, and then it cuts to the interior of the shuttle. The shuttle's crash landed, right?
They're on the planet.
Yeah, they're on a planet. They're on the planet.
And there's this tracking shot kind of along the way. Yeah. People were like scratching their heads and.
Yeah, because they crashed. Yeah.
Yeah, and what's his name's got a bloody nose.
Yeah.
The other doctor.
Yeah, and he's like, he's theorized that they had been shot into the center due to the Morsaki effect. Spock's trying to call the Enterprise. Basically, they're doing this whole thing where they're going down a list of, here's what we got to do to survive, and Spock is leading the way as the commander. Basically, Spock is setting up his command structure, like he's going to be the one making decisions, and people are having a little bit of issue with the way he's doing it because he's very logical. But meanwhile, it cuts back to the bridge, and they're still looking. They don't see any reasons. There's no transporter. The transporter's out. It's not functioning, so they can't use the transporter to try and find them. The transporter room, they beamed something out and came back disassociated because of this weird ion storm generated by the quasar, right?
And are we back down on the planet, right? And they're discussing about, kind of what they can do, right? And and Scotty can say, well, we'll try to fix it, I guess. And first he says, Mr. Bowman, not Mr. Bowman, but the two other guys in the gold shirts, who not red shirts. Yeah. He tells them to grab their weapons and go outside.
That's right.
Stay within and go explore, but stay within sight of the shuttle, which I don't think they did.
That's right. And then Scotty theorizes that they could probably get orbit if they were 500 pounds lighter. And then Spock's like, the weight of 3 grown men. Yeah. And then Boma is quick to jump on him, like, who decides which men? And goes, well, logically, I do. Exactly. We'll draw straws. Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I will come to my decision quite logically.
Yeah, that's how Spock goes for it.
And but they kind of like, and McCoy's like, oh no, or we can just get that much equipment out of here or whatever. And he's like, we'll be using every piece of technology on here just to get off the planet's surface. There's not enough stuff to take off.
Yeah, Spock doesn't think there is enough stuff that weighs that much because everything is, it's so compact in that shuttle.
Well, they got rid of a few things later, but
they were carting out some stuff.
My first thing was chairs. How much do those chairs weigh? Just get them out of there.
Yeah, exactly. Those dumb chairs that got knocked over during the crash.
Yeah, exactly. They're not good anyway.
Yeah, and so then meantime, it cuts to the outside, and the two yellow shirts are in fog, looking around. They hear this strange noise, this clicking, scraping noise. Yeah.
Howard.
Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of, I don't know.
I don't know what it is.
Not very good sound effects, in my opinion.
No, in my brain it sounds like it's like a stick that's got like teeth to it.
Yeah.
And then with another stick with no teeth, and they're just kind of running it back and forth, and then running the sound maybe slow, half speed to make it do that weird noise. That's in my brain.
But that makes better sense because Spock later on talks of it being like wood on leather. So I don't get it. Anyway, they're freaking. They're looking around in the fog. They're all over the place. And the one guy, the blonde-haired guy, the young Kirk-looking guy, stands up for some reason, and he gets like a spear in his back.
And they cut to a stuntman.
Yeah.
And then it looks like they cut to a doll.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's like some kind of a doll, like a G.I. Joe dropping with a...
Right, because the spear is like super huge. It's like a pole. Yeah. It's like a giant pole with this huge stone arrowhead on it.
Yeah, and so what's his name jumps down and starts firing.
Yeah,
so he jumps down, but you see like this weird kind of fog thing move with the tilt down, which I think they put in later because they probably said, maybe we won't have a guy laying there dead with a big spear out in his back.
Yeah, it won't go over very well.
So they covered it up.
That's
my.
That's a good theory. I don't know. All these years I never came across anything about that.
So they hear screaming, right?
Yeah. So they hear screaming, and the other guys, Spock and what's his name, Boma. They've run up to find the guy whose name is Latimer, I guess, who got killed. There's Latimer dead. They join him, and they're like, "We got to take Latimer back." And he's like, "I will." Spock's like, "I will take him back." And they're like, "No, don't. You get out of here, jerk," kind of thing.
Yeah, they did. I noticed like in the early shows of this, there's a lot of people who don't work with Spock that often. Hate his guts.
Yeah, they don't understand his logic approach.
But like Scotty and McCoy and Uhura, and people who work with him on a daily basis, they kind of understand what he is and who he is. Yeah. So things don't bother them as much as some of the people that just don't come in contact. So they're all like, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, you fucking logical piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, stupid.
Yeah, so they take Latimer back. Then it cuts back to Kirk on the bridge, and He's continuing the searching. Him and the commissioner are getting into another word battle, fighting over it about He's like, we're getting out of here, and you have no more than 24 hours, and then we're out of here. And he goes over to Sulu and he says, increase the 2 degrees separation of the search parameter.
Is that the Enterprise, or have they launched the Columbia yet?
I don't think they.
Because the transporters don't work, and they end up sending the Columbia out.
Yeah, they did send the Columbia out. I think that was earlier. They sent the Columbia out. I remember it being one of the things they did right first.
So they're telling the Columbia to kind of widen their.
Right, that's right. And then he walks over to. That's right. He's ordering the Columbia to do that. Mm-hmm. And he walks over to Sulu, and Sulu's like, "Sir, if we increase it by 2 degrees."
Is he Scottish now?
No, Sulu's not Scottish. I'm trying to do my George Takei. Let me try again. Sir, if we increase it by 2 degrees, we'll miss over 1,200 metric tons of terrain.
Metric tons of terrain. Is that what he said?
Something like that.
Yeah,
no, not anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of, and he's like, yeah, I know, you gotta. But
he's like, mind your helm.
Yeah, just mind the helm. We'll do this.
Yeah.
He's trying to stretch it out real thin and really involve luck a lot in this.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's really, because he even says something later about relying on luck.
So we're back at the shuttle after that.
So they're trying to empty out the shuttle, and the one dude Boma wants to have a service for Latimer, and Spock's like, he's asking Spock.
Oh, he pops in, and he's like, well, we're ready.
Yeah, and he's like, for what?
Services for Latimer. And he's like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah, I don't even know Latimer. It's illogical. He was hardly my friend. Anyway, no,
he's here. Doctor, you go say something.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
your responsibility to say something.
And then he's not going to go. He's going to sit there and work with Scotty because they're trying to fix the fuel issue.
Yeah.
And get off the planet. And what's his name? Just kind of like, and then leaves.
Yeah.
And so they keep working.
Yeah, they keep working, and then Scotty and Spock are working. Then it cuts. It's like a transition, and it comes back, and there's a leak. Psh, something's leaking. I don't know why there's no fumes or anything, John, but it turns out the fuel is all gone.
Yeah.
There was obviously some time going by. Maybe they had a service for Latimer during that time, but yeah, the fuel is all gone, and it's leaking out of this cartoonish-looking floorboard removed thing. And it's like, that's it. That says no more fuel.
Well, we have to have an alternative. We don't have any fuel.
He's like, there are always alternatives, Mr. Scott.
And Scott's like,
yeah, and a little homage to later on Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, where it's like, there are always possibilities. Meanwhile, they hear that weird noise again. It's loud, and Spock's analyzing it with his ears. He says it sounds like wood on leather.
Yeah, they're outside now. They're all kind of here, and they run out.
Yeah, and they're debating on what they are. Like, are they just unintelligent? Are they tribal? And they're theorizing that they're tribal. And if they're tribal, then they have a sense of unity. So we punch them in the nose and frighten them, and then they will be frightened to move away.
And Spock is like, well, I just don't understand you humans with you don't care about life. You just want to kill people and stuff like that. Yeah. And, so he's like he's polling everybody about what we should do. And he polls everybody, and everybody agrees that they need to do something or something like that, right?
Yeah.
They need to maybe scare them or do something or punch them in the face.
That's right. No one suggests stunning them for some reason, because there is a stun setting on the phaser, for crying out loud.
Yeah, you think there was. Yeah.
It's either killing or frightening them. It's not stunning them. I mean, come on. I don't know.
So everybody wants to go and just punch him in the face and kill him, and Spock is like going, "Oh, I'm making the decisions. You're."
Yeah, he's saying that we have a responsibility to whether the creature is intelligent or not.
So he tells the yeoman and McCoy to go in and help.
Help Scotty.
And then they're going to go off and try to figure something out.
Yeah, Boma and Spock.
Yeah, so Spock says, okay, follow my orders to the letter, and do everything I tell you to do, and don't divert. So they end up going off to where this noise is, right?
Yeah, and that other ensign guy with the gold shirt, that's not a red shirt, but he's kind of a Teamster-looking guy, I thought, too. I forgot to bring that up.
Yeah.
One of the things that we forgot to point out, or I wanted to point out, I don't know if we have a moment to say this, but these giant spears that they're chucking at these guys,
right?
it's just like someone off camera just tossing a pole. It's not, doesn't look like there's any brute force involved in throwing these suckers, you know?
It's horrible.
It's off. And then the phaser like hits the shield of one of them, and he throws the shield down, and it hits the ground, but then it cuts to the shot, making it look like it's a giant shield because the camera's up close to it.
Yeah. He says, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to basically fire over their heads and try to scare them.
Yeah, he says, Boma, you do 2 o'clock, whatever. Teamster guy, you do 2 o'clock, shoot over. And so, all right. They're like, yeah, okay. So they don't even go shoot him. They just kind of frighten him. Yeah. And then Spock jumps down, and he's like, okay, that should do it. That should frighten them, you know?
Yeah, then he says, not Bowman, what's the other guy, the guy, Teamster guy, the guy in the gold shirt. You stay here and you stay and guard here.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, guard for what? What's he guarding? There's nothing there. This is on the other side of the rocks, you know?
Yeah.
There's nothing. What, you guard those rocks? And in my mind, I think that Spock is still thinking about the weight they need to shed to get.
Oh, you think he's like, maybe this guy will get killed?
This guy might get killed.
Yeah.
I don't know. He probably didn't do that.
Yeah, no. You're very pessimistic, John.
I am.
Oh, they go back to the shuttle, and he's like, they will not bother us any further.
McCoy says, I hope not, because Scotty here got an idea.
Yeah, that's right.
And so Spock sits down. He's like, going, okay, hit me, baby. Hit me with that idea you got going there, Scotty. So Scotty has the idea to basically use an alternate source of fuel inside the phasers.
Right, he'll use the phaser power for alternate fuel.
And he can drain them off into whatever he needs to do to make the engines run. So he says, great idea, let's do it. So he goes over to the yeoman, says, hand me your weapon. She's like, but what if they come back?
Yes.
And asks for McCoy's as well.
Yeah. And
then Scotty gets to work.
Yeah, and he's like, he has this, goes down in there and starts doing something.
Yeah.
Science fiction-y.
Making some kind of noise down there, draining them things.
It's kind of funny, I don't know, it's just...
They're just like, they don't explain anything. They don't show any close-ups, so they don't have to explain anything.
Right.
They just know he's doing something down there.
Yeah.
With some weird thing, he's doing something with, he's got this big weird green thing.
The monocular
I don't know what
type
that
looking.
is. So then we go back out to the guy all by himself, right? Is that next?
No, we go to the Enterprise. And the transporter works. Kirk walks in and he's like, transporter works, Captain, we're ready to go. Good, let's beam down some people. Right. So he's beaming down a bunch of search party people to get this show on the road. So he's sending people on the planet to search for these guys.
Right.
And he's like, it'll be lucky if you find anything. He's like, yeah, well, he's depending on luck. He says something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So now we go back down, and with that guy, he's guarding rocks. Yeah. And all of a sudden, he kind of like feels that there's something creeping up on him. Yeah,
and he's like going to shoot his phaser, and his hand gets hit by a rock. Then another spear gets chucked at him.
He tries to reach out, all of a sudden,
and the camera tosses a giant pole spear.
And then this big creature is like basically they go to the
shot. Oh yeah.
And he like raises his arm.
You got
this. Commercial.
And it's supposed to look really big, but when you look at it, these tiny arms are like. Ding, ding,
I know. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, they probably got some guy with like that has with a suit with like this big, with more big shoulders and stuff.
Yeah. Do you think this was one of those scripts that like the network would love because it's the monster of the week?
Probably.
I don't know. It's not much of a monster though. Because that thing looks like a Captain Caveman outfit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and it cuts to commercial.
Then we come back. Yeah.
And he's gone, and but just a phaser is left behind.
So and a big footprint.
Yeah, and they hand Spock hands the phaser over.
Right.
And tells the other guy, "Hey, here, take my phaser. I'm gonna go look for Mr. Catano." And he's like, all right.
He's not dead 5 minutes and you're already giving his weapon away.
Yeah, exactly. Always bringing up stuff like that. Like
the guy was like completely.
You are so emotional. Yeah, exactly. Like he would.
Whatever, dude. Yeah, he doesn't understand Spock.
Yeah, he should be court-martialed or something. I don't even know what his job was. He's not one of the doctors, I don't think. I don't know.
He's something. I don't know. I thought he was the doctor from earlier in the season that took care of. Who was it?
Spock during that whole thing. It turns out he's.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
Right, he's not. He's not the doctor that's on Star Trek: Strange New Worlds.
No,
that doctor, Mabenga.
Mabenga.
So anyway, Spock goes looking for I guess to gather more information about this tribe. He finds a body laying there.
Well, he says, like, I have some strange interest, a scientific interest in what's happened to him.
Exactly. What has happened to Mr. Katenga?
And he goes off.
Yeah, and he goes off, finds him, picks him up, carries him, and as he's carrying him away, spears are getting chucked at him.
Yeah, one spear hits like a rock, and you see styrofoam kind of explode off of it.
Which is kind of cool, because you know that like...
It's all styrofoam.
Yeah, it's crappy. And it's just off camera. You can see a Teamster guy just chucking it.
It's like some little tiny skinny guy throwing it.
And couldn't they, if all this technology of special effects, couldn't they make him look like it came from a quiver or something?
Yeah, I know, right?
You know, like stuck in the ground.
Maybe they're worried about hurting people.
Yeah, or they don't want the budget to do that, you know.
Okay, so Spock makes it, obviously.
Yeah, Spock sits down in the shuttle.
And he's thinking. He's actually dejected. Yeah,
and he's just trying to figure out what's going on. Scotty's still working on the phasers.
Mr. McCoy's like, well, Spock.
Yeah.
It looks like you scared him something else.
Yeah, he rubs it in.
They're not gonna bother us, are they?
Yeah, he's like rubs it in. He's like, this is highly illogical, you know.
What do you think? They're gonna see us shoot stuff, and all of a sudden they're gonna respect us? Yeah. What does he say? He's like
something like that. And he's like, yes, logically. And there's this argument about logic back and forth. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, they're asking, you know, what are they doing out there, you know?
Yeah.
And they're kind of getting mad at Spock because he's made
decisions. Oh, that's right.
She's
like saying that. What are they doing out there?
Yeah, and he's studying us, obviously, you know.
Right. I think
and what's his name is like.
It's like, oh, is that another conclusion drawn through logic or something like that? He's like, no, it's just my opinion.
Right.
Yeah. Then they're like starting to hit the thing with the rock, and they cut up to the Enterprise in orbit. They go to Kirk, and the ion storm is moving away. So now a lot of their equipment is working.
Right.
And the dude reminds him he has 2 hours 43 minutes left, and he's like, he is delighted, and will continue to remind him. You know, basically, Kirk and the Ferris guy are arguing again.
Yeah.
And Hurl gives out some information about what's happening, and he's like, and then Kirk will say, yeah, I know, thanks for reminding me. Until then, get your nose off my bridge. So he tells the guy to get off. Goes, all right, Captain, but I'll be back in 2 hours and 42 minutes. And he goes off to the Enterprise. And it cuts back to...
it looks like he's got a cape on, by the way.
Yeah, a weird outfit, right?
Yeah.
That's such a weird outfit.
It's so weird.
Yeah,
anyway,
it cuts back to the shuttle, and then they're like trying to figure out what to do because the guy's pounding on it, and then Kurt and Spock's like, will the batteries create an electrical charge sufficient enough to blah blah blah? So they decide to like electrify the outside of the ship.
Like, that they will, sir.
Yeah.
And he jumps up all excited.
Yeah, and he grabs these weird gloves and starts making the outside of the ship electrified by shoving a rod on this panel.
And so they end up. It works.
It's working. Yeah.
So, it works, and the monster goes away. The Bigfoot goes away.
Yeah, that's right. And then so now Mr. Bowman wants a burial.
Oh yeah,
for the other guy, you know. And he's like, well, we gotta. Then it cut. You know, they're talking about. He goes, okay, we'll go out here and bury him. Meantime, Mr. Spock, you'll get your shit together and let's get this thing out of here.
Yeah.
You know?
So they end up. Then were we back up on the?
Yeah, we're up on the bridge and the time is up. And Ferris is like, time's up, Captain. You got to get out of here. Let's go. Mm-hmm. And so Ferris orders them to go to Marcus 3.
So they have to. He's recalling everybody.
Yeah.
They beam up, but. Uhura tells them that they have 23 minutes until the Columbia.
Yeah, and that's a cool shot too, by the way.
Yeah,
it's like 23 minutes. It's like, damn.
23 minutes. Yeah.
Man, he can't believe it. Just 23 minutes left, because that's what he feels like he has going to lose his friends. You know. Columbia lands, and then
Kirk tells,
and Uhura gives the report about how everybody's on board. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, we're all ready to go. So he goes, okay, go ahead and leave orbit, but leave orbit at
space normal speed.
Right, so super slow. Yeah, and Sue's like, space normal speed. He goes, yes, and continue to search as we leave. You know. Yeah. So he's got a plan. He's gonna just slow it down as long as he can.
He's doing one of these.
Yeah, exactly.
It's awesome.
They're gonna try to go as slowly as they can.
Goes back to the planet.
They're burying what's his name. They're out there, and all of a sudden, some spears come flying through, and they start screaming and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I saw the best part. Yeah.
And Spock is like, Spock is like
throws.
He picks up a spear and throws it at him or whatever, and then all of a sudden this rock is thrown in there and it lands on his leg.
Yeah, and it pins him against this other boulder.
And he's like, "Go take off, go take off!" But when he's doing that, he's moving the rock because it's styrofoam.
Yeah.
So, but they went in, they got the rock off of him, and they run inside, and it's like, "Take off immediately! I told you guys to take off without me." He goes, "What? We're gonna leave you there? Come on, Mr. Spock! Come on!"
Yeah, and it's like, you should have listened to me. And the shuttle, they finally take off, but they're having trouble taking off. But then Spock says, "Hit the boosters," and they boost off. They get orbit, but they took away a lot of their energy.
They can't land softly, basically. So they only got maybe 40 minutes to be in orbit. So Spock is sitting there thinking, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, what did he say about something about McCoy's talking to him about well, I guess you're whatever, and then Spock's like, well, I guess I was wrong, and he's like, well, at least I lived long enough to hear that.
Yeah, he's like, whoa. So Spock's trying to call Enterprise, nothing, can't get a hold of him, so he's thinking, and then he
looks at the jettison,
fuel
jettison switch.
He jettisons the fuel and ignites it, and somehow in the vacuum of space, the fuel ignites and creates this incredible blue line of fire. Green line of fire.
Yeah.
And Sulu, meantime, there's this nice shot. It cuts to the bridge of panning over the panel at Sulu and the navigator. Mm-hmm. And Sulu's there clicking a button and goes, "Captain, and there's something on the planet. There's something."
Is that a meteorite? No, it's holding a lateral line.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, turn about as fast as you can.
Sulu saves the day, and they turn around to get him, and they go back to the shuttle, and Scotty's like, "A signal flare?"
That's right.
Hey, Mr. Spock, that's such a great idea.
You threw up a flare.
Oh, if only there was someone to see it.
Exactly.
It's like, yes, Mr. Scott, there was no one to see it. It's highly illogical.
That's right. And McCoy looks at it and be like going, huh. He goes, very human of you.
Yeah.
And he's like going, that's illogical. He's like going, that's exactly what I mean.
Exactly. So
then
the thing starts burning up, and the smoke is coming up, and the girl's getting all upset, and then they beam out. They get beamed out. And it cuts to the bridge, and Uhura's like, 5 beamed aboard, Captain. We got 5 people on board. Something like that. He's like, all right, let's get out of here. Not thinking to say, well, who were they? Because are there 2 left on the planet? He instead just says, let's get out of here.
He's got to assume that they're dead.
Yeah. And does it cut to a commercial?
I don't remember, but
there's an epilogue.
There's an epilogue. Spock is on the bridge. Everybody's on the bridge that was in the shuttle, except for the doctor.
Yeah,
the other doctor.
Yeah.
And
it's Boehm.
It's like this really weird moment.
They're all like kind of smirking.
I know, like Uhura's back there, kind of like looking, like going, "Oh, what's gonna happen now? It's gonna be funny."
Yeah.
And so Kirk walks over and kind of leans up against the control, and then McCoy comes over and he's like, "Oh, Mister," he goes, "Listen, would you say that was a desperation?"
Yes, sir. A purely human thing.
Yeah, no.
To do.
Well, I wouldn't describe it as that, but yeah.
Yeah. And they all start laughing.
It's like there's 3 people dead. That's okay. But they're going to laugh their asses off. Even like Uhura almost falls out of her chair. That's how much she's laughing. And everybody's laughing on the entire bridge. She even points at him.
It's like an outtake or something. It's so funny.
I did hear on the internet that this script was actually based on a film from, I think, the 30s, where it was about an airplane that crashed in the middle of the Amazon. And I think the movie was called "And 5 Came Back."
Oh, interesting. I didn't even hear that.
I think that was
the name of the movie.
Right. And so there's a film, similar theme.
Yeah. And one thing I did learn was that, they redid the special effects, but all the shots of any shuttle you see from now moving forward are these shots that they shot for Galileo 7. They never used the shuttle model again. They only reused and repurposed shots from that initial plate that they created.
But I like this one a lot. And I think that it did a good job with kind of being kind of a thriller, like a mini thriller. So the next episode is the Squire of Gothos.
Oh, the Squire of Gothos.
The Squire of Gothos.
Yeah, is that with Trelane? Is that the main character?
I think maybe.
Like, hey, Captain, I like playing with you.
Yeah, but actually, we'll talk about it later. But it's people seem to think that it's the first appearance of Q.
Oh, right. I've heard that theory.
Was it a Q?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
That's right.
Don't doubt yourself, John.
I can't remember.
It's okay. You're good.
Yeah,
you're a Star Trek fan.
Yeah, it could be a Q.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. Yeah.
All right, that's it. Until then, the bar's closed, and we'll see you next time.
All right, see you.